On YouTube yet. Now we are.
Oh.
We're on YouTube officially. So, quick recap for the 2 minutes that we were accidentally not broadcasting on YouTube. Hey, this is Brad and Mike from Dallas Geek, and we are officially here with our 2017 year in review.
Obviously not everything.
No, this is just going to be our personal preferences. But if we thought it was important, if we want to talk about it, we will. We asked for everybody else's thoughts. We're going to try to include a couple of them in here, but for the most part, they kind of lined up with us. So, yay!
And we don't really care about your opinion anyway.
Yeah.
Or well, I guess we probably shouldn't say that, right?
Not too loud.
Yeah.
So go ahead and pull up the notes. Yeah. David.
Love you.
Seriously, though. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, sir.
I'm just waiting for him to, like, call me.
You're better than that.
Apparently he is not.
Anyway.
Cool.
So, to start off our recap of the year, since we spent so much time focusing on movies, we're going to go ahead and start off with those. So, for all of our reviews, all the categories we talk about, we're going to be talking about our vote for best and worst of each. And unfortunately, even with that being how we're doing this, I kind of have to break the rule right off the bat for movies, because I couldn't pick just one best. I had to kind of split it up into a couple categories.
Which, by the way, the movie that you put on here.
Which one?
Oh, you know which one I'm talking about.
Oh, I think I do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead. We're gonna start with that one. Go ahead. I want to hear you say it. Go ahead. I want to hear you say it.
Oh, so we're gonna. I'm gonna say my. What's David saying now?
Oh, he's just we're
really
bullshitting.
No. So we're gonna say my overall best for last. But I'm gonna start off with my vote for best cinematography, which has got to be Dunkirk. We reviewed it. We talked about it during
our David.
review. Yep.
In 70mm.
But overall, Dunkirk was the most gorgeously shot movie of the year.
Absolutely, it was.
And for anybody out there that wants to argue that Dunkirk should not count as a nerdy thing, clearly you're not a Chris Nolan fanboy. It was awesome. I loved every second of it. I thought it went just long enough, but because it was able to focus so much on the cinematography, I think it was a very, very, very gorgeous movie.
Absolutely, it was.
And I could not have expected more from Chris Nolan.
No, yeah, it was gorgeous, but more importantly, it was a return to the old school war epics of the tell the story, don't go way over the top with the CGI and the special effects, like all practical effects.
Okay, this is gonna bother me.
You do. Oh, okay, thanks. Okay, mother. That's weird. But no, all practical effects, like Nolan likes to do.
Yep.
Really let actors kind of. I don't even want to say act, because like the first 10 minutes of that movie, there's no dialogue.
No, in fact, we talked about it in our review, but the whole movie may have had a grand total of 10 pages of dialogue for all characters.
There wasn't a lot of dialogue, but there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
So, but no, yeah, definitely, probably the prettiest movie that I've seen this year.
Oh, easily.
Well, second prettiest, Beauty and the Beast.
Emma Watson doesn't count as pretty cinematography.
Yes, she does. She absolutely does. You will not say anything bad about that movie.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Sorry, a little bit of context. That's my favorite Disney movie. The animated, not the live action.
Uh-huh.
Only animated film to be nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards, sir.
Yeah, this is everything to do with the animated and nothing to do with your severe love for Emma Watson.
A little bit from column A, a little bit from column B.
Anyway,
sorry, back on the rails.
So, go back to the notes.
Really? You're the one that wrote them?
I know. David doesn't matter.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you heard me right, David.
I love you. No, the next one that you have on here was War of the Planet of the Apes, or War.
Yeah. So, I also think that War of the Planet of the Apes is a solid tie for cinematography, just because of how amazing the CGI work was. The fact that they were able to have so much CGI in that movie and made it look genuinely real. That, if that's not a feat of cinematography, I don't know what is. That was just phenomenal. And damn it, Andy Serkis is just, he is one of the best actors in the business, especially when it comes to motion capture work. I have nothing but respect for the man.
Agreed.
So, next, unless you have anything to add to that.
No, that was actually, it's funny. I went and saw that with David as well.
Yeah.
It's the only one of the new trilogy that I've seen. You okay there? You're like, I'm going to drink. No, wait, I'm not going to drink.
I'm still trying to comprehend how the third one is the first one you saw.
I just never got around to seeing the other two, to be honest with you. No, it was fantastic, though. It really was. Like you said, the mocap was brilliant. Woody Harrelson.
I know, right?
Evil as all get the hell out.
I know.
Like, never would have thought he had it in him.
But he definitely did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, past cinematography, I have to say for best plot, without question, Logan. It was, I mean, I don't think I've had a superhero film hit me so hard. Okay, seriously.
God damn it. I'm going to close that. Now he's just trying to make me laugh and
You're killing me. You're David.
All right. Keep talking.
David, you know this boy cannot focus. You're killing me, sir. You're killing me.
I'll show those to you later. Those are fucking hilarious, though.
Dude, we're live.
We're live. Crap, that's right. Sorry. All right.
Anyway,
you can't take me anywhere, can you?
No, I really can't.
Well, this is the internet.
Yes, but we want to stay advertiser friendly.
Did we?
Yes.
Well, okay, fair enough. It's news to me.
Wow. But yeah, no. Logan, without question, had the best plot. I did not think that there was going to be a superhero film that could make me feel as much as Logan did, but between James Mangold's directing and Hugh Jackman's acting, and Patrick Stewart's acting, it was such a phenomenal movie.
This would have been a lot higher for me if they didn't do the whole X-24 thing.
Yeah. No, that if it hadn't been for that part of the movie, it would have been in contention for best of the year.
Oh yeah, agreed.
But that one piece, because it took up so much of the plot, it kind of hurts it in my eyes for total package.
Agreed. I actually need to verify something real quick for the movie that you put on there. The other movie that you put on there.
Well, there are two more.
One of them.
Okay.
You know which one I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I thought.
What? Was it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No.
Yeah, it was like a November.
Well, crap. That completely blows my pick for best of the year out of the water.
That's what I thought.
I was going to say Split, but apparently that was the end of last year.
It was the end of last year. Saw it with David yet again. I think it was November, if I remember right. David, text me if I'm right. I will not be ignored.
Wow.
Don't worry, David. We'll be opening the phone lines up in just a minute. This is a train wreck, but in the best way possible.
Wow.
No, so yeah, but
yeah.
So try to get it back on the tracks.
Please.
So no, Logan was really good. Wonder Woman though.
So then, yeah, if Split can't work for my best of the year, then I do have a backup. But before we get to that, my last, we'll call it honorable mention, has got to be best franchise edition. Was Last Jedi. I think that for the Star Wars franchise as a whole, Last Jedi did the most of any movie this year to help the franchise progress in the way that it really, really needed to. I know not everybody liked it. I know that there has been a lot of controversy, and we'll get to that again. But I think that it did a fantastic job at moving the franchise forward in a new direction, which was sorely needed.
Completely agree. It took the franchise in new directions while staying very familiar in terms of like story themes. You know, the old with the new and the new with the old and so on and so forth.
Split was this year?
He said it was January. I think it was a limited release last year.
Okay.
So I think it was like a limited November, December to hit Oscar and Golden Globe. And then I think it released worldwide.
Okay.
January.
Well, then
you can clarify with us, David. So, but no, for me, Last Jedi was, it was, you know, like I said in our review, halfway through the movie, I turned over to Brad and I said, this movie's not going in any direction that I even remotely thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
It was, looking back on it now after seeing it a couple of times, it was, I'm trying to think of how I want to phrase this. I don't want to say cynical, but it kind of was.
It was,
and I don't mean that in a bad way.
It was a much darker tone than I think anybody was expecting for Star Wars, even when you compare it to Empire.
Right. Which that's one that's getting a lot of comparisons too.
Which I don't really think they're all merited comparisons. I think that Last Jedi was a unique enough piece. I just think that there are certain tonal comparisons you can make that people are just willing to latch onto.
Sure.
Because everybody was just expecting that after what happened with Force Awakens being having so much being so much of an homage to A New Hope,
is that
people were more willing to latch on to comparing this to Empire than they were to accepting that this is a mostly unique story.
Which, if you do remember, because I do,
yeah.
I mean, I wasn't alive for it, so I can't say I remember.
Sure.
But if you go back and you read, like, there was actually quite a bit of fan backlash when Empire first came out, in terms of the tone that it took and whatnot, the direction that it took, and what do I want? God, Jesus Christ, I'm going to throw up, Tony.
David, we're gonna mention the two movies together. Empire and Last Jedi will be mentioned. That's just how this works. Get over it.
But no,
in fact, we need to bring you on again just to be able to air your grievances with Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So, but every time I try to get a coherent thought in, he just chimes in.
Huh?
No, but it was very much what the franchise needed.
Yeah.
It needed to go off in a new direction, especially after everybody complained about how familiar and how, I guess, much of a rehash Force Awakens was.
Yeah.
And then we come out with something totally different that's very tonally different.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like crap, apparently, which, you know,
I don't get it.
Fanboys.
I mean, but like I said, we'll get back to that issue here in a minute.
Can we talk about Wonder Woman now?
Yes.
Okay.
So Split, if clearly I didn't do enough homework, but if Split was in fact widely released January this year, like I originally thought it was, then Split is my vote for best movie of the year. If you don't want to count,
and who directed Split? Say his name.
Shammy.
Yes.
Oh, good Lord.
Great director.
Oh
Great
my gosh.
Great director.
Okay, so Shyamalan can make a good movie when he's not buying his own hype. Shyamalan can be a really solid director. Can be.
I just want to point out that that's 3 great films. Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and Split.
Out of how many total?
8?
Mm-hmm.
8 or 9, right? Hey man, that's still winning the batting title in baseball.
40%?
Yeah, batting 400?
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot. Brad doesn't know sports, guys. Sorry.
I'm just saying, in school, 40% is a fail.
No wait. I'm sorry. The Visit was a fantastic film too.
Meh.
It was great.
It was okay.
It was good. I'll still argue Signs.
I think that one is severely overrated. Signs, I will admit, Signs has certain elements about it, but overall, it just wasn't as great as you keep trying to say it was.
Go back and rewatch it.
I have.
Recently?
I about slammed my head through the friggin' wall watching it the second time.
Oh, David, that's mean. I'm not even going to dignify that.
Wow, sir.
I'm not even going to
just wow.
Okay, so
okay, now, but the other runner-up for best movie of the year was Wonder Woman.
Yes, it was. Thank God for Wonder Woman.
Which, I mean, you have to admit, between James McAvoy's performance in Split and Gal Gadot's performance in Wonder Woman, either one would make a solid #1 for the year. They both put in such a fantastic performance for their respective movies.
I would argue that Wonder Woman was possibly the most important movie of the year for its genre.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, dear Lord, DC finally got one right.
And I would argue that Split was the most important movie
of his career,
in Shyamalan's career, aside from The Sixth Sense, because it was the movie that was going to make or break his ability to come back. If it hadn't been for Split, I honestly think that Shyamalan's career would have taken another 5-year minimum with 2 movies in there to have even the most remote chance of being seen as respectable again. I think Split did a lot for his career,
for sure,
trying to bring him back,
for sure. But because
I think he was pulling a George Lucas where he bought his own hype way too hard, and he needed to be brought back down to reality. And I think that everything that led up to Split was that being brought back down to reality.
I get that argument. But for me, Wonder Woman finally showed DC, like, hey, maybe everybody doesn't want a dark and moody and totally, because like,
and I hope they pay attention to that,
because tonally it was completely different from Batman v Superman and Man of Steel and Suicide Squad. Like, it was very much like, it's what Man of Steel should have been. Like, oh, a character that stands for, like, you know, the standing for what they perceive as to be like the good of people in terms of what
the bright, shiny, happy people.
Yeah,
because that's what Superman is.
I mean,
even in his darkest storylines, he is one of the most optimistic, cheerful people in DC Comics.
Like, I don't mean it from a like REM shiny happy people.
I mean, I do.
I know,
but
I mean it from like the relentless optimism, the seeing the best in people instead of the worst in people.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, I'm sitting there watching it and I was like, this should have been Man of Steel.
Yeah. No, it should have. It really should have, if Zack Snyder hadn't been given it.
Agreed.
If literally anybody else had been given Man of Steel, we probably could have gotten a movie the tone of Wonder Woman, sooner, which I think would have made Wonder Woman less of a shock tonally, but would have maybe even made it more possible earlier. But that
agreed.
That's me.
I totally agree.
I think Man of Steel is actually was a massive detriment to Wonder Woman having a chance of being made earlier.
Yep. And then but I think that definitely showed DC where they can go in terms of But now apparently it's totally screwed again. So good job, Warners.
So then we have to get to the worst of this year, which honestly, as the YouTube video title kind of let out of the bag, is the start of our fanboy backlash conversation. Damn it, fanboys. Why can't you let us have nice things?
No, they can't.
So
they can't.
For me, worst of the year has got to be the backlash, both for Last Jedi and honestly for Justice League.
Still haven't seen Justice League.
So
you have to wait till.
So I still haven't seen Justice League either, but the backlash for it,
which I swear to God, if when it drops on Blu-ray, they put out a director's cut that's like 2.5 hours long, I'm gonna throw something.
So my problem with the Justice League backlash, and this is not me trying to defend Warner Brothers or DC by any means. My problem is that going into it, everybody was saying that Justice League is what we need to be able to bring back the franchise, bring in the new characters, and then when Joss Whedon started taking over because Zack Snyder needed to leave for family reasons, which
that's still awful.
We still send our condolences to Zack Snyder.
Never wish that on anyone.
No,
that's pretty
never. No matter what our opinions of his movies are, that was a horrible thing for anybody to deal with.
I was about to say he's still a person at the end of the day.
Yeah, but even still, the second Joss Whedon was announced to be taking over for him, everybody started saying, "Oh, this is going to make it so amazing. It's going to be great." And then everybody saw it, and you had some people saying that the movie was crap because Zack Snyder's pieces were too obvious. You had other people saying that the movie was crap because Joss Whedon ruined it for the Snyder fans, and nobody ended up being happy with it. And it's not okay. Guys, either you're okay with this direction, you're okay with that direction, but you can't have it literally both ways or none at all. Mm-hmm. It was what it was. Either you're okay with the movie or you're not, but stop bitching about it. Same thing for Last Jedi. Either you want something new or you want something different, but you can't bitch just because it can't be both.
You said you want something new or you want something different.
Sorry. You want something familiar, you want something different.
Right.
You can't bitch because you can't be both.
Which I literally have people...
That's not okay, guys. You have to just accept that the movies that we get are the movies that we get, and either you can learn to like the stuff that's out there and support a new direction, hoping that one of the next movies in line is along the story that you want, or you just move on and stop complaining for the rest of us.
I won't even say it like that. I'll say it like this. If your main complaint and if your main argument for why a movie wasn't good is because it wasn't the way you envisioned it being, the problem is you.
Yeah.
Deal with it. You have a mic so I can drop it? I feel like it's a mic dropping moment, right?
It should be.
Yeah.
You can drop your phone, but that one's on you if it breaks.
I'll find something to drop here in a second.
But yeah, so.
But no, it's legitimately look, like legitimately so many people on my Facebook friends list that I'm probably not going to have on there for much longer because they're pretentious tools, and I won't name names. Like, oh wow, like. I'll never forget when they announced the title for Force Awakens. How does something awaken if it's this and if it's that? Like, oh, gee, I don't know. It could be a spiritual awakening. It can be like the Renaissance where it's considered as like the Great Awakening of civilization, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or you know, maybe we should watch the damn movie and figure it out first. Then Last Jedi comes out, and everybody goes and sees it. Half the people really liked it, half the people really hated it. But I literally saw on people's Facebook statuses, I hate how Luke was interpreted. This movie's shit. Like, what? Okay, so because it didn't follow because it didn't follow the way you wanted it to be, it sucks?
Yeah. No, look.
Again, you people are the reason we can't have nice things. Yes, I just said you people, deal with it.
Look, at the end of the day, Disney took over Star Wars. We are not going to get the Star Wars storylines that we had before Disney took over. It's not happening. They're not coming back. Everybody just needs to accept that and move the hell on. Yeah, I know. I was a fan of the old stories too. I hate that. I hate that the stories that got us through the dark times in between movies are no longer canon. It sucks, but just move on. It's not the worst thing in the world that we're getting new stories. Yeah, they may not be exactly the stories that you're wanting yet, but if you voice your opinion in a way that's not sending death threats to the director because it's not the movie you wanted, maybe
or as I saw
listen.
Or as I saw on somebody's Facebook page, what was it? I've never seen a director mansplain their film so hard as Rian Johnson is now. You lost all credibility in my eyes, homie. Yeah. That was actually somebody's Facebook status. I'm gonna let that sink in for a second.
You need to not be friends with that person. Yeah. That person is not okay.
No.
So,
but we've ranted long enough.
Yes.
Let's get back on the rails a little bit and move on.
So now, next, best in gaming.
I guess this is my area of
Yes,
expertise.
this is absolutely you.
Cool. Okay, so best in games. You know what? Let me go ahead and start with the worst in games first because Electronic Arts. How do I put this very candidly? I would rather get cancer than work for Electronic Arts.
When you can put out one game that has such significant flaws that it not only drops the current price of your stock, but the future valuation of the company as a whole, that's a bad thing, guys.
Yes.
That is a bad thing.
No.
What's David complaining about now?
I just said Madden 92. Those were the days, David.
Wait. What was that about Phantom Menace? Are you really throwing that one out there?
Give Phantom Menace clones and Sith its due. I'll give Sith its due all day, every day.
Oh yeah,
Revenge of the Sith was fantastic. I watched Attack of the Clones the other day.
Look, I have no.
Hayden Christensen was terrible.
Look, I have no problem admitting that the prequels had their merit. Just
yeah, man. Without those, we wouldn't have gotten
fantastic.
Without those, we wouldn't have gotten midichlorians. Not a thumbs up on that?
No? The only thing that's ever done that well was the book Darth Plagueis, and even then, it took a while to get to that point.
So, but back to the games.
Yes,
EA basically releasing a half-finished game with Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah.
Which
keep going for a second.
Yeah. Oh, you're leaving me.
No, I'm checking the comments.
Oh, okay. So, essentially, Mass Effect released as a basically halfway finished game.
Your mother told us to be nice.
No. What are you going to do about it? Probably shouldn't have said that.
You have to see her later.
I don't have to.
Good luck.
Yeah. I'm going to pay for that one too. So Mass Effect essentially released as a halfway finished game with so many game crippling bugs that you would have thought Ubisoft made it. Another shot. And then we have Battlefront 2.
Now, okay, before we just completely move on from that, I do have to say very quickly, Mass Effect Andromeda. Was it perfect? No, not even close. But was it a terrible game? Frankly, no. It was a mediocre game. The graphics had problems that needed to have had more time, but as a game, it was just mediocre.
How much time did they need? Well, wasn't Mass Effect 3 like 6 years ago?
Yeah, I think it was 5 or 6.
5 or 6, yeah.
But the problem here is that EA was way too focused on just trying to make a quick buck, and were not willing to put the proper resources into the project consistently. It was not a terrible game; it was just mediocre. But the fact that there were so many high expectations ahead of time, that mediocre ended up becoming terrible, according to the internet.
No.
That EA was willing to just shutter not only future prospects of the franchise because of early impressions of the game, but an entire studio division within the company because of the game. That alone is ridiculous. Yeah, I know EA is a money-grubbing, horrible example of what the gaming industry can become.
Yes, David, I understand that cancer is a rough analogy. That's how much I hate EA.
But the fact is, Andromeda got a lot more flack than it should have, and EA should not have reacted the way they did, but it could have been received a little kinder. I mean, the whole thing was just a mess, and honestly, that was the biggest problem. There was just the reception and the reaction overall on both sides was just horrible.
And then we get
into done better.
And then we get into Battlefront 2, which was just a mess, just an absolute mess. A sequel to a game that released that was literally half a game when it released.
I thought it was still half a game.
Yeah, basically. Put it to you this way: Battlefront 2 had the most downvoted comment in the history of Reddit. We'll let that sink in for a minute.
Downvoted comment by the publisher.
Yeah.
That's the part we need to point out.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it was the publisher that
actually comment by the publisher.
Yeah. So Battlefront 2 really goes to show you why. How do I phrase this?
Remember, family-friendly wording.
Yes, that's why I'm really struggling right now.
Oh my!
Battlefront 2 goes to show you what happens when all the company cares about is their bottom line and not putting out a good product.
Yeah, I mean, look,
and that's a slap in the face to everybody that buys games.
I mean, look, I'm not saying that there isn't a place in the gaming industry for microtransactions.
Oh God, I am.
I mean, clearly, DLC and microtransactions are here to stay. They're not leaving us just because they can be inconvenient. However, I will say that they need to be better placed. They need to be better thought through. Because what was it? I think I was hearing somebody talk about how I think it was FIFA actually did microtransactions well, where there were a ton of them in there, but none of them were necessary to get through the game or to enjoy the game. It was all about if you want to go a step or two beyond in how you can personally enjoy the game, then you pay.
Sure.
But if you want to be able to simply get the content to get from beginning to end in a coherent manner, you already have that because that's what you bought from day one. And stuff like that, go for it. But to do what happened here, no.
But now
you shouldn't be blocking the game as a whole simply because people don't want to pay, what counts to what was it? I think total
like
cost for DLC and loot crates was like
$100.
Like no, I think if you wanted to even get a halfway decent shot at loot crates, the loot crate drops was like 300, 200 to 300, give or take. I mean,
depending
that
on
shouldn't
what you
be a
want, that kind of
thing.
stuff. But yeah, we've ranted enough about the bad.
So the good, and this one is all you.
Oh God, yes it is, because Nintendo is back.
Nintendo took the year.
Oh God, they curb stomped the competition this year.
They
told
the
Microsoft
first time in a long time.
Not that long.
Long enough.
Less than a decade. Not about a decade actually. They told Sony and Microsoft to bite the curb, American History X style, and it made me so happy.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
Did you really just compare?
Yes. Yes. Nintendo was Ed Norton. Yes.
No, to neo-Nazis.
I mean, if you're the one that took it there, not me.
I think Spike Lee took it there, but okay.
So Nintendo came back hard with the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
I mean, which again, as I always tell people, if you want innovation in your video games, go Nintendo.
Yeah.
They are always ahead of the curve.
Yep.
You had the Switch drop, which I lost my damn mind when I saw the reveal trailer. Like, damn, Zelda looks absolutely gorgeous on that TV. What's he doing with that controller? Oh my God, I can take it on the go. Shut up and like, where's the Fry meme? Shut up and take my money. Shut up and take my money, Nintendo. Yeah. Take it all.
Yeah.
And then with that, we got Super Mario Odyssey, which just dropped actually a month ago. Which is quite possibly the best Mario game ever made.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing.
You're willing to go that far?
It's that good. It's that good. It's that good. However.
Okay. No politics, David. No politics.
Yes.
Damn it, David.
Okay. So Nintendo dropped Super Mario Odyssey on their brand new home console / handheld console, which is awesome. Which demand for was so high that they were having to like air freight it from Japan overnight to meet sales and demand over here.
Yep.
However, as amazing as Super Mario Odyssey is, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, possibly, like, it is in my top 5 of the greatest games ever made. It goes up there with The Last of Us. It goes up there with Final Fantasy VII. It's a masterpiece. It is an absolute masterpiece. Anybody that wants to argue that video games are not art, cool, there's Zelda. Fully open world, go anywhere, do anything, can go to anything that you see on the screen.
In any order.
In any order that you want to. You can literally go to the main boss the first 30 minutes of the game. He's going to hand your ass to you multiple times, but you can do it if you want to. Took me over 100 hours to beat the game. 100 hours of gameplay. Yeah, I put that much into it.
And you could still have put in more if you wanted to.
Oh, God, yeah.
Still more content.
Because I haven't 100%ed it. No. But no, Zelda is without a doubt it's the game of the year. It'll probably go down as the game of the decade.
And if you are a gaming completionist, it's what would you say it's about up there with Final Fantasy for the worst nightmare for completionists?
So there are 120 shrines. Each shrine has its own sub puzzle, or it's a boss fight, a mini boss fight. There are 800 Korok seeds that you can find in the game.
Okay.
On top of finding all the landmarks, on top of finding, there's so much. There's so much. There's so much. Multiple endings. If you want the true ending for the game, you have to get the Master Sword and you have to defeat all 4 legendary beasts. But to get the Master Sword, you have to have at least a minimum of 13 hearts. More than that. That's all I'll say. Just to give you an idea, you start the game with 3 hearts. Each divine beast that you beat gives you 1 heart. 4 shrines to get a heart container. Do the math.
It's impressive.
It's impressive.
It's impressive, sir.
But as I said, it is one of the greatest games ever made. More importantly than that, it's one of the most important games ever made because Nintendo came back in a big way with it.
Yeah.
A big way. This is a franchise that's over 20 years old that they completely and totally reinvented and revolutionized overnight. It's
a way that Nintendo sorely needed. With so much of gaming being pushed towards better graphics, and that has become so much of the focus for so many people. This is exactly the kind of quality gameplay that Nintendo needed to prove their relevancy in the industry.
Sorry, I was just corrected. Over, it's 900 Korok seeds.
Oh,
My bad.
Yeah.
I said 8. My bad. But no, that will go down as game of the year, game of the decade, possibly one of the greatest games ever made. Period. End of discussion.
Yeah,
and it absolutely deserves to be in that.
And then your runner-up,
South Park. Just for the title alone, South Park: The Fractured But Whole.
There are so many
fractured, comma, but whole.
There are so many gameplay elements of that are themselves their own in-joke for fans that honestly, if Matt and Trey can continue to put out more side content for South Park like this and the was it Stick of Destiny?
Stick of Truth.
Stick of Truth
was the first one.
I mean, if they can keep putting out more side content like this, I'll be okay if they continue to delay each season, because this kind of stuff makes the delay worth it. If they can continue to be this heavily involved in the creation of the other stuff, the other games, the other whatever that they want to make, that can continue to contribute this much humor, I'm okay with it.
Yep.
It continues, in my eyes, to keep South Park fresh and relevant.
Absolutely.
In a way that the show has periodically struggled to do. So I am so okay with this.
Yeah. And just on top of that, it's a great game.
Yeah.
Great turn-based strategy, RPG. But yeah, if you love the show, it is an extension basically of the show, as if it was just another episode.
Yep.
Kind of like how the Stick of Truth was. But no, this was without a doubt a total highlight for me in terms of games. Also, Horizon Zero Dawn was a fantastic game. You didn't get to play that one. That one is absolutely incredible.
I've heard good things.
It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Okay. So, but those would be my top 3 for sure.
Okay. Well then, to move on to TV for the year. So my vote for best TV show of the year has got to be Game of Thrones. This season of Thrones has been absolutely phenomenal. They put in so much into the production value that, you know, the stories have been on point. The acting has been incredible. Game of Thrones has given us some of the strongest new names in acting than really any other single source in the entertainment industry. I mean, Game of Thrones is the reason why we hear about Peter Dinklage more. Game of Thrones is the reason why we're hearing about Gwendolyn Christie, why we are hearing about Sophie Turner, Emilia Clarke.
I'm okay with Emilia Clarke and Sophie Turner. Yeah. Those two.
And after next year with the New Mutants, while we will be hearing more about Maisie Williams, it has produced so much talent and brought it to the forefront of everybody's attention that I am very okay with it.
Yes, David, I'm about to get to it. Calm down.
And I mean, especially after last year's entries from HBO with Westworld, and with the upcoming season for Westworld,
Jonathan Nolan, man.
Next year.
Jonathan Nolan.
I mean, HBO is they are making a stand against Netflix in a way that I really didn't expect. And I mean, Netflix has done some amazing stuff with their new content. Personally, I think this year I was kind of meh about most of the superhero stuff that Netflix put out, except for Punisher. I think Punisher was pretty solid, but everything else superhero, everything else nerdy that they put out has just been okay. So I think this has been the year that HBO has been able to continue to prove that if Netflix wants to take HBO's footing in content creation, they're gonna have to fight for it. So I'm okay with that. It means better content for all of us.
You done?
Yeah.
Because I'm about to kill your entire argument with 2 words.
Go for it.
Well, wait.
It's 3. It's 3 words.
Stranger Things 2.
Really? That's where you're going?
Oh my God, yes. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
Where'd you think I was going?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That was fantastic too.
I know how much of a fan you were of this past season.
Of Agents?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So damn good.
But no, Stranger Things I'll agree with. Stranger Things was the highlight of Netflix for the year, without question.
So good. So good. Steve Harrington being the surrogate mother for the children this season was absolutely hilarious. What do you think I'm doing hanging out in the woods with you? Do you think I'd be hanging out in the woods with Steve Harrington if I knew where anybody was? So many great lines from this season. So good. So damn good. No, Stranger Things was... Season 1 was absolutely mind-blowing. Season 2 was even better.
Yeah.
Did more character building, got to see more characters. The dynamic between Steve and all... They took Steve Harrington and put him with all of the kids. That was possibly the most brilliant damn thing I've ever seen in my life. They took a character that was like kind of a D-bag for about 90% of season 1.
Kind of?
And then made him possibly one of the most popular characters of season 2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And they took the most likable, or one of the most likable characters from the first season that wasn't one of the younger kids, and made her the sudden likable villain of the main characters because of Steve.
Ah, yes. I know
Nancy.
Yeah. Plus 11.
Oh my gosh. Millie Bobby Brown is fantastic. I am so happy to see her on season 3.
I agree. Mom of the Year, Steve Harrington.
It's gonna be awesome.
Steve Harrington, Mom of the Year. Absolutely. Absolutely. Plus, I just liked the overall narrative of season 2. Didn't really know what was going to happen. Didn't really know where everything was going.
Yeah.
The fact that Will was a villain, I guess you could say.
Yeah, no, he qualified.
That was a really
he qualified.
So
at least as a surrogate villain.
That was so effed up when
and I honestly,
you know what, it's been out long enough. Spoilers.
I didn't see it coming.
It's spoilers. They're coming. I don't care. Deal with it.
Apparently the heater kicked on.
So we have to talk louder. So no, kidding.
You talk more. I'll be right back. I'll fix that.
So spoilers coming. Season 2, Stranger Things, episode 5.
Yep.
The spy, right? 5.
Yep.
Yeah. So essentially, Will, the character that you are wanting so badly to stop suffering and to stop, basically turns into a straight up villain. And how would you say basically murders a bunch of people? Would you say that he murdered them, or would you say he was an accessory to murder?
Spoiler.
I said spoilers.
Yeah, he does.
It's been out for 2 months.
He does. He absolutely does.
And that was messed up too, when he was just like, they shouldn't have done that. I was like, oh crap. But then we got possibly like the greatest reunion ever at the end of the next episode, when 11 shows up and murders all the little demigorgons. And then her and Mike, those are life goals, man. Mike and 11 are life goals.
Yeah, it was awesome.
They are life goals.
It was awesome.
So damn good. I gotta go back. I'm gonna go back and rewatch it now.
So then for worst of the year,
but back to best. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So good. First half of the season, paranormal, dealing with the Doctor Strange tie-in. Second half of the season, life model decoys, dealing with who can you trust, who can you not trust, super paranoia. Oh, so good. So good. And we got Ghost Rider. Oh, Ghost Rider was amazing. It wasn't Johnny Blaze, but I don't care.
Honestly, I thought it worked. I thought that was a really nice contribution in the first half of the season, and the second half of the season with, of all things, Fitz going villain. That
not really though.
Oh no,
it was in the framework.
Yeah, I know.
But
the whole framework matrix thing, and Fitz goes full villain for that. I did not see that coming. And he was fantastic as that.
What I thought was even better was the return of Ward.
They just cannot let him go.
And they just can't not have him be a double agent. Spoilers again.
No, I mean, I know that there are some people out there that think that his character is just tired and needs to be let go. I'm okay if they want to keep bringing him back for any absurd reason. I like him.
So hoping that they were going to take the Ward out of the framework back into the real world. Like I wanted it so bad.
Yeah,
I wanted it so bad.
Just to redeem his character.
Not even to redeem his character, but like he was so good this season. Like the character was written so well that you're like, shit, like they need to keep him around.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
but to our worst.
Yeah. So for worst of TV, so I have two. I'll just say this: we're not even going to bother talking about Inhumans. Neither one of us saw it. I think everybody at this point has figured out it bombed hard. This has been Marvel's biggest misstep, and there's really no point in just grinding that down anymore. So
I mean, we could have really wanted to, but
so instead, what I will say is, worst of the year for me. Once again, going back to Fanboy Outrage, was the initial reaction over the announcement that we were going to have a female doctor for Doctor Who.
Yeah, this is all you. I don't watch the show, so I'm going to be over here.
So the problem here is that, dude, get back in the frame.
I can't offer anything.
I know, but the camera keeps going dark every time you shift out of frame.
Okay. So I just got to sit here and look pretty.
Pretty much, yeah. But so the biggest problem here is that you're dealing with a franchise that has been around for over 50 years, a character that has proven that there is honestly no limitation other than the imagination for what can happen with the characters in the franchise. So the fact that all of a sudden the main character becoming a woman with the newest regeneration being such an offensive thing that there were legitimate death threats against the actress for ruining Doctor Who. Why? Why is that such a big deal?
Hold that thought.
Come on.
Hold that thought.
What?
Hold that thought.
I swear if you're about to interrupt us for sports.
It's technically TV. Pats clinched the #1 seed in the AFC, baby. Yes! Okay, you can go.
You're killing me, dude.
Is it not TV?
It's sports.
Is it on TV?
Is it nerdy?
Yes. Dude, have you seen the way people track stats in fantasy football?
I mean, I know you're a bit of a nerd about it, but come on.
Tom Brady. That's all I need to say. Go ahead.
Just because you have some issues about Tom Brady that you need to talk to somebody to work out.
What issues? He's the greatest human being to ever live. People need to worship the ground that he walks on.
You're never going to marry Tom Brady. So
that's not. You don't know that. You don't know that.
Oh my gosh.
Anything is possible.
David, could you please tell this boy that he's never marrying Tom Brady?
Love you, touchdown, Tommy. Okay, continue. Oh, wait, real quick.
No. Kidding. What?
Best. Rick and Morty season 3.
Oh, yeah. Well, just so much. But yeah, no. Ridiculous. Once again, yet another example of just because you
Fanboys being assholes.
Just because fanboys can have their voice heard on the internet doesn't mean that you should be saying these things.
Nope.
There's a difference between stating your opinion and being genuinely offensive to actual human beings.
Yep.
You do understand that these people that play these roles or direct these movies or TV shows, they're people. And you can voice an opinion without threatening death or some other horrible physical action against them.
But how
you know that's okay,
but
right?
how will the internet know if they're serious if they're not threatening somebody's life?
Dude, you did see the report that there's finally been a fatality from swatting, right?
Yeah, it was over Call of Duty too.
Yeah. Friggin' mouth breathers, man.
I hate them.
Anyway,
so when I run for president, one of my platforms will be eugenics.
Oh God.
Selective breeding, homie. Selective breeding.
So, yeah, so but to move on from Doctor Who into something that you actually can say something about, the other bit of worst was really CW's DC lineup.
Except for Arrow. Arrow really turned a corner.
I mean, honestly, I'm not going to say that this past season for DC anything has been bad per se. It's just, it was very lackluster. And especially after having such a promising start to all this, having Smallville give so much opportunity to these new shows back in the day.
Smallville.
For these new shows to so quickly allow themselves to become boring is the worst insult that they could have to their predecessors as well as the current fans. It's just, it's not okay, guys. You have so much material to work with. Why are you letting yourselves get bogged down by the whole traditional CW love triangle crap and become boring rather than allow yourselves to latch on to the stuff that DC has given you and stay interesting? If you're going to be doing the Flashpoint storyline, don't do it for one episode and move on. If you're going to be sending Barry for this season, if you're going to be sending Barry into the Speed Force at the end of last season, don't let the effects of that, yet again, last for one episode and move on. If you're going to be doing whole character affecting stories, let them last for more than one episode. Let them last for half a season. Let them last for a whole season. It's okay to let your characters breathe. It won't kill you. Jeff Johns, I thought you were in charge of this stuff. You get this. Why are you letting it fall?
I don't think he's in charge of their TV division.
I thought that he had some creative say on that side. Finally.
I mean, he has some, but I think it's still Mark Guggenheim and
Berlanti. I know. Come on, guys. You know better.
Just they should.
Yeah. So anyway.
Okay.
Anything to contribute before we move on?
No, I'm cool.
Okay. So then
no, not that one. That one.
Best event.
Fan Days. Fan Days was awesome this past year. No, yeah, it's still 2017.
No, best event was Fan Days. That was the fall convention.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. So Fan Days, surprisingly, being at the Las Colinas Convention Center.
Oh, you're going with that one for best?
Yeah, fall, dude. Fall, not spring. Fan Expo is the big one.
Yeah. Really?
Fan Expo Dallas.
Yeah, but
Fan Days is.
But you're doing the small one for best.
Yes.
Please, by all means, go ahead. Because I didn't go this year.
I know.
I had to work.
So I'm calling the Fan Days, the fall convention here in Dallas, as best event for the year. Mm-hmm. Granted, we didn't get to go out to too many events, so this is from a very limited perspective. If we had been able to go to some of the other conventions, maybe we'd have some other opinions. But from what we did attend, I personally liked Fan Days a lot this year, even though it was at Las Colinas. Which is usually the more crowded, smaller venue that just gets overplayed. I thought it was better this year because fewer people showed up, at least on the day that I went. So it was easier to move around. You could actually spend more time on the convention floor with the vendors, and you weren't getting shoved out of the way every 5 seconds. There was time to be able to actually stop and talk to the guests that were there. I had a really fun time. I mean, as everything is with when Fan Expo is involved, there were coordination issues for timing, but honestly, I thought they were acceptable. I thought that overall the event went well, and I was okay with it. I really liked it. So I thought that was the better one.
I didn't get to go, so
Fan Expo, however, back in the spring, gets my vote for worst because there was severe lack of coordination.
Well, you're not wrong
there was overcrowding because they did not plan well ahead, so there wasn't enough space available, even though we were in the largest convention center in Dallas, and there should have been space available. Fan Expo did not lease enough space for the event. They crammed everybody way too small, did not have enough panels going at any given time to take enough people out of circulation from the floor. And the big panels, like for example, this year, we had a panel with friggin' Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy, and they did not lease out the big arena for that. Did
they use the arena for anything this year?
No, they didn't. They leased out the big ballroom that was 3 ballrooms combined and had very small access points to get in and out of. So the line for that ended up wrapping around back to the main convention floor rather than taking advantage of the arena's waiting area, which actually had more space and could have started preceding into the massive space that the arena had. The only reason and was taken advantage of last year for the Doctor Who panels.
The only reason I can think they didn't use the arena this year,
it was expensive. I know they were trying to penny pinch, but the problem is we all know that Fan Expo makes a lot of money off of these conventions. Yes, it's never as much as everybody assumes, but they could have afforded it. They didn't. They didn't get enough volunteers. They didn't communicate enough with their volunteers. So autograph lines, especially the photo op lines, were horrible.
Don't read it out loud. You might be right, David. Wow. You might be right. You were there. I almost murdered somebody.
Yeah. But there was just a severe lack of coordination for Fan Expo.
Dude, I don't disagree.
I mean, they had some good guests.
They had some really good guests.
They did not coordinate well enough with those guests and communicate back with the attendees so that if a guest was going to be there for Saturday only, but it was only going to be, there was a last minute change that said instead of being there all day, they were only going to be there half a day. They did not put out the notification enough that people understood that was happening.
Right.
And I don't just mean on social media. I mean at the event itself, they weren't making announcements. So then the volunteers were not able to communicate. Like there was one volunteer that was at both conventions who I was talking to at Fan Days, who was telling me that he was one of the guys over running the photo op lines. And when the Walking Dead cast had a change in schedule that completely threw off timing for everything, nobody told anybody over in the photo op lines. So they were still trying to line people up for photo ops, even though there was a cancellation. And then when everything had to get hurried up, nobody told them about that. So as soon as there was a massive influx of people like rushing the photo op line, nobody knew what was happening. Nobody could figure out what was causing it. And then when the guests weren't showing up, everybody was just in complete confusion, and it kind of sucked. I mean, there is a right and wrong way to do the conventions, and Fan Expo has done it right before. Granted, they have a history in all the conventions that they do across the country, and out of the country. They have a history of dropping the ball more often than not, compared to some of the other convention franchises out there. And I will admit, it sucks knowing that they're the ones that are running the big local convention. But they won't allow the local talent to have enough say in, look, this is how the convention should be tweaked to make it work for the local people that will be showing. Because we know these conventions. It sucks that that's not more heard by Fan Expo. And hopefully we'll see an improvement, but that I had a problem with this year.
We'll see, man.
I hated how uncoordinated.
Well, I'll tell you right now, they better have their shit together next year. I will meet Marty McFly.
Yeah, if they can't get things put together well enough for friggin' Michael J. Fox, I mean, you can't bring in somebody like that and drop the ball as hard as they did this year.
Oh, I'll kill somebody.
That won't work.
That's true. That's very true.
What?
Close runner-up, best event of 2017, Zim's guest appearance on your pod. Agreed.
To be fair, that was probably some of our best stuff that we put out.
That was actually a lot of fun too.
We'll
have to have you back on.
That was probably some of our best stuff.
We'll have to have you back on, and we'll do another. I can think of a topic to do with.
Yeah, we'll figure something out early in the year. So that's best and worst events from me. Do you have anything more to throw in there?
Nah, you pretty much covered it, homie.
All right. So then, what else do we have?
Comics.
Okay.
DC Rebirth.
So best in comics, DC Rebirth. Mike,
fantastic.
Take it away. And I'll check comments real quick.
Where are you going? Why are you leaving me?
We have a comment back on CWDC stuff. Get rid of Laurel.
Who said that?
Sam. Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
I don't hate it.
I'm okay with Katie Cassidy. I think she can act if they give her the right stuff. I just don't think they know how to use her. I think her character and her style of acting, they just don't know how to use properly.
I say get rid of Felicity first.
Really? You're one of the Felicity haters?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I honestly don't mind her.
Really? Go rewatch season 4.
Once again, when they use her correctly, because there is a way to use her character and her actress correctly. The problem is they seem to have forgotten how to use her correctly after season 2.
Again, go rewatch season 4. So DC Rebirth, yay! So essentially, New 52. You're going over here.
They figured out that they wrote themselves into a corner way too fast for that stuff.
So
Convergence came and went, and we were left with Rebirth.
Rebirth is awesome.
It's been fantastic.
Oh, Jeff Johns being a good writer, shocker.
I know, right?
Who would have saw that coming?
Oh man.
No, Rebirth has been fantastic. Seeing the reintroduction of characters from pre New 52 back into the DC universe.
Yeah.
Has been fantastic. Pre New 52 Wally West coming back in and reuniting with Barry Allen was possibly one of the best things that I've ever read in a comic. So what are you doing?
Checking Facebook to see if we have any comments going right now.
Yeah, probably not. Nobody likes us.
Wow.
Sorry. Wait. Let me.
It's not inaccurate for YouTube.
Nobody likes you. Sorry, I had to put it out there. Wow.
Anyway, over right now, nothing's coming up in the chat stream for YouTube. So
yeah, whatever.
We are. Oh, hopefully somebody will be watching.
Apparently, we're down on Facebook.
Oh, we got 2 viewers.
Apparently, we're down on Facebook.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Wait, we're down on Facebook?
That's what I just got a text about.
No.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and talk. So yeah, the reintroduction of characters from the New 52.
Says we're live.
Nah. Figure it out later. Taking stuff from the New 52 that worked and keeping it was cool. Also, everything's canon now, apparently.
David said he's watching.
Okay, cool.
So Facebook is going.
Love you, David.
Yay!
Yeah, everything now that has ever happened in the history of DC is canon. Everything is canon.
Rainbow Batman is canon.
Rainbow Batman
Remember
is canon.
that is a thing.
And that is leading us into the big crossover that started in November, on my birthday actually, was Doomsday Clock.
Oh.
Which I haven't started yet. I think I'll only be 2 issues behind, so I can probably actually jump into it. But the Watchmen are crossing over into the main continuity DC universe.
So,
because Dr. Manhattan was revealed to be the reason
for everything.
Rebirth, right?
So,
spoilers.
My favorite element of DC Rebirth has actually been the Batman Metal crossover, or as it's also called, the Dark Knights.
Yes.
Setup, which the hard part is, it seems like it's coming after the Doomsday Clock story in terms of the timeline, but it could also sort of be seen as its own thing that isn't necessarily affected by Doomsday Clock. It's weird.
Everything's canon!
But honestly, I like what they're doing with it. I think that they are doing an awesome job with everything that they have been writing in. I love the evil Batman, especially the Batman who laughs.
The Joker Batman.
I think the stuff that they are writing for these guys is it's some of the most demented stuff for Batman I've seen in a while, because it is taking every doomsday scenario where Batman goes rogue and is showing you just how messed up it can get, and is doing it in a way that actually isn't cliche or some side Elseworlds story, which, I mean,
everything's canon.
I love it. I genuinely love it, and I cannot wait to see where it goes. But Doomsday Clock is getting exciting.
Yeah,
I mean, the big reveal about who Mr. Oz was alone was, I didn't see that coming. Jor-El, did you miss that?
Yes,
dude. Yeah.
Shit.
Mr. Oz is Jor-El. Like Dr. Manhattan pulled him out during Krypton's explosion, rebuilt him, sent him to Earth in order to, sent him to the middle of Africa to see just how bad humanity could be while he physically recovered. And as soon as Africa messed him up, and the civil wars over there messed him up in the head, forced him to watch all of Earth's history to see just how evil humanity could be, to finish brainwashing him that humanity should not have a chance to survive. Therefore, he needed to convince his son that humanity should be given up on. So when he finally revealed himself to Clark, trying to tell him that humanity was a goner and that he should come with him to start a new world for all of the superpowered people to live happy ever after. And Clark disagreed with him, saying that, no, you can't possibly be my father, because my father would never say that about humanity. He sent me here to save humanity. And this, I don't care if you are Jor-El, you cannot be my father, because you are not the Jor-El that I've known all my life.
So awesome.
And it went full dimension, to the point where Jor-El even tried to turn his son, Jonathan, against Clark by saying that Granddad said humanity is doomed. Earth is going to end. We all need to get out of here to save Mom.
It's pretty effed up. That's awesome.
It was so demented.
So awesome. God, I gotta read it now.
Oh, like that was the what they call that. I think that was just the lead up to Doomsday Clock that they put out there. And oh, and of course, during that whole time, Clark finding out about everybody that Mr. Oz has been pulling out of the timeline,
right,
and holding, including Doomsday.
Yeah,
he finds Doomsday shackled in a cage and accidentally gets released. Sorry. The accidental release of Doomsday was during the Batman storyline while this was going on, where Tim Drake escapes after finding out that a future version of Tim Drake had also been kidnapped from the timeline, who was Batman, and they accidentally released Doomsday and had to end him. And then, but Clark, during the whole Mr. Oz thing, did find the room where Mr. was I can never pronounce his name, Mixoplex.
Yeah.
Where his cell had been, and all the crazy carvings that he had put into the wall about Superman, where are you? Why won't you help me? Please save me, Superman.
So awesome, dude.
It's so awesome. I love where they're taking the storyline, but between that and Batman Metal, I think this is some of the best writing that DC has seen in years.
Awesome.
Honestly, years.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So to the worst.
So for me, it was a tie. But I'll let you take the first half of it.
You sure?
You have some opinions on this one.
Yeah. So Captain America is a Nazi, apparently. No. So it was their relaunch into all new. Is it all new or all new, all different Marvel?
That's one. Well, technically, they relaunched All New, All Different twice.
This was Marvel Now.
Yeah.
Whatever. Right.
This was during the All New, All Different Marvel before Marvel Now.
So Captain America is a Hydra sleeper agent because his memories were altered. And they actually started it in Civil War II.
Yeah.
They laid the building blocks. Yeah. And then this led into Secret Empire, which was basically Captain Hydra. Yes, you heard that right. Captain Hydra essentially takes over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it was there. That's how I'm going to say it. Interesting plan. Interesting idea. Not great execution. Not great execution.
But once again, going back to the theme of our review, the fan backlash for it was bullshit.
I know. I will fully admit that I was one of them.
Yeah, but you weren't one of the ones sending death threats to the author.
No.
Which, by the way, that yet again happened.
But I was
Why did it happen?
I was very much one of those, like, you just made a guy that was you just made a character that was created as a symbol for fighting against everything that the Nazis stood for.
Mm-hmm.
Created by two Jewish creators, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
A Nazi.
Which, once everybody gave the storyline time to work itself out, it made sense. It actually made sense.
Yeah, I guess.
You even said that you liked Secret Empire for the most part.
What little I got to read of it. I didn't get to read the entire thing.
I mean, honestly, it was no more ridiculous than some of the other storylines that they've thrown in.
I don't disagree at all.
But at the same time, it's just so absurd that there had to be such mass hatred. After one issue, by the way, one issue came out and the hate mail flooded in, and that should not have been a thing. It was absolutely asinine, and just no.
What he said.
But
And the next thing that we had.
Wow, David, really?
So the next thing that we had was the.
So with
how do we word
with
this?
the all new, all different Marvel attempt, and
Marvel
then
Now.
the Marvel Now attempt, they Marvel decided to take the opportunity to bring in some new characters, which, to be fair, they needed to introduce some fresh faces to Marvel's lineup. I admit that it makes complete sense that they should have. However, because they chose to have these new characters take over existing hero mantles rather than become new characters in their own right, there was a lot of opposition. However, most of that opposition eventually was overlooked by the fans and realized, oh wait, no, some of these stories are actually decent.
And some of the characters, well, it also helped that some of the characters, like Robbie Reyes was actually a decent Ghost Rider,
and
that was actually a pretty good story.
Amish Cho as Hulk, I liked him.
I mean, the character's fine. It doesn't help that they're literally just rehashing like World War Hulk, Planet Hulk.
Yeah,
with him.
But honestly, his take on the Hulk mantle, I think, is interesting. And then, of course, you have Marvel Girl.
Marvel Girl.
I mean, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan.
Yeah.
There we go. I mean, they've done some really great stuff with her.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
The biggest problem though was Marvel. It was not the characters, because while the characters had hit or miss aspects, Marvel actually overreacted, we'll say, and went ahead and said, well, clearly the fans don't actually want new characters. They don't want minorities. They don't want women. So we're just going to go back to white males as the default for all of our characters. And whatever. We're going to pretend like this didn't happen. And so they've been trying to revert back to the original, or trying to revert back to the original Hulk, the original Iron Man, the original Thor, all this stuff that you're just left going, wait. Don't give up too quickly. Female Thor, Jane Foster Thor was honestly good.
And it was also cool that they did an interesting take on
maybe Riri as Iron Man wasn't Iron Maiden. Sorry, wasn't the best.
Ironheart.
Ironheart, is that what they? Okay.
They call it
maybe that wasn't the best option that they could have done, but frankly, it could have been worse.
So I will say it. I'm trying to think of how to phrase this without sounding like a Trump supporter. Sorry,
I love how
I saw that eyebrow raise out of the corner of my eye.
I love how that's the thing, the filter you have to put this through.
Oh no, so like I'll just say it. So it's I think that there was some legitimate grievances raised when people said that all you're doing is changing these characters to be politically correct.
Yeah, which they were.
However, we got some really good characters out of it.
Yeah,
we got some really good stories out of it.
There was definitely an element of political correctness that jumped in, but the characters themselves were not necessarily bad characters.
No, that's just it. When the characters are written correctly and when they're written well, and they're not just like, hey, we're going to make an Asian kid the new Incredible Hulk, or we're going to make a Hispanic kid the new Ghost Rider, just because we can. When you actually flesh the characters out and you actually give them really good stories and let them develop and you actually make them really well-written characters, you're golden.
Like Amadeus Cho as the Hulk, when he was when everybody in the Marvel Universe was first becoming known, go for it. Cool. First becoming known for just unplug the battery.
Cool.
When he was first becoming known by the other Marvel characters as the new Hulk, like even the interaction that he had with She-Hulk during their first meeting, all the way down to him finally starting to realize that his original easy time handling the Hulk powers wasn't the end of the story, that there was a reason why Bruce Banner had a hard time with it. and he had to start coming to terms with the anger that was the Hulk. That had some great stuff to it. There were some solid story moments there. However, like you said, the second they started trying to rehash old storylines with the new characters, that's when they started to lose the fans. That's when they started to lose their grip on the new
it comes
characters.
across as lazy.
Yeah, and it was, frankly. There were a lot of lazy elements to it.
Absolutely.
So,
but, I mean, all in all, Marvel, they did some good stuff. They did some bad stuff.
Yeah.
We'll see where they go in 2018. I haven't really been keeping much attention in terms of the Marvel comics.
Yeah, which honestly, my attention to it has been fairly peripheral, except for one or two characters, and I mean, really, mainly one with Amadeus Cho. The rest of them, I don't care that much about. I mean, Captain America has been interesting, hit or miss, but I don't know. Marvel just hasn't been able to grab me with their comics right now.
We'll see what happens. Like I said, 2018 is going to be a big year for them comics-wise.
Yeah.
Movie-wise, you've got Infinity War dropping. Black Panther's getting his solo movie. I think, is Ant-Man and the Wasp supposed to drop next year too?
I feel like yes, but you can always correct us in the comments if we're wrong.
Yeah. So, movie-wise, they're fine.
Of course, don't forget, you said Black Panther, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, I think that's going to turn out to be fantastic.
Dude, you really,
it looks amazing.
That's 2 months away.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I can't wait.
But 2018 will be a big year for Marvel in terms of comics. Plus, they just got the X-Men back.
Which means they can stop trying to push the Inhumans on us.
You could do both. You could do the Inhumans versus the
X-Men. You can, but honestly, the more they keep trying to push the Inhumans as a viable replacement for the X-Men, the more they start to lose me. Because the two teams are not meant to occupy the same space when it comes to the stories that they're given.
Sure.
They are meant to have different stories. They can exist side by side in the universe, but they are not supposed to have interchangeable stories.
Sure.
The second Marvel started doing that despite Fox, that's when they started losing us. And I am really excited to see what Marvel can do with the X-Men now that they're not just trying to stick it to Fox. Finally.
Can't wait.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
And we'll hopefully get the Fantastic Four back where they belong.
Probably sooner than we will X-Men on the big screen, at least.
We'll see.
Because X-Men, there's a lot more coming up that they have to finish no matter what.
Right.
Whereas Fantastic Four, they can just start fresh as soon as they want to because there's nothing in the pipeline.
Cannot wait. Oh, I cannot wait.
So it's going to be awesome.
But yeah, so that was our year in review, 2017.
Yeah. If you think that we complained too much about Fanboy Outrage, and we should have just let it go.
Tell us in the comments. No, wait, don't tell us. I don't care.
Then either you're just sick of hearing about it as we are, or you're part of the problem. Either way, complain to the complainers because they're the ones that need to stop.
Yep. But yeah, so that was good.
Yeah.
A little refresh on the year in 2017 that was.
Yeah. No, I think it's been 2017 has been a very back and forth year for me. There's been so much whiplash for reality and entertainment that I was talking to Sarah last night. Looking back at this year, I can't really find a better description for it other than I just feel tired.
Oh yeah.
There isn't I can't say I feel great. I can't say I feel bad. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I just feel exhausted.
I'm just here.
There's been so much whiplash that it's been so hard to keep up with anything good consistently. I just feel tired, man.
I feel you.
So 2018, please, we are begging you. Give us some positivity in our entertainment.
Hey, man.
Give us some positive, nerdy vibes that don't have just constant butthurt bitching from the fans. Because
Well, you know they're gonna bitch.
I need something good to latch on to next year.
You know they're gonna bitch when the Han Solo movie drops in May.
Donald Glover's Lando.
Yep.
Donald freaking Glover is Lando.
Oh, they'll bitch.
Give me something good to latch on to.
I guarantee
I'm begging you.
I guarantee you, Childish Gambino will be one of the people they bitch most about.
Even though he's honestly the part I'm looking forward to most.
Can't hate on Gambino, man. Can't hate
oh my gosh,
Gambino. But
yeah, no,
so,
just 2018. We're begging you, give us something good. We
good.
need some positivity in our lives again.
Brad could really use it.
Yeah.
Me, I'm pretty cynical at this point. Whatever.
But
I'll just burn it all down, man.
Yeah.
Collect the insurance money. I mean, what?
We do plan to do a lot more live streaming in 2018. We plan to do a lot more interviews, more roundtables with other creators. We are already in the slowly trying to set up interviews with local cosplayers, with local businesses, comic book stores, movie theaters.
Did you know about this? I didn't.
We've talked about this.
Oh, Jesus.
We've actually talked about this.
Have we?
Yes. So throughout the course of this year or this coming year, we will be trying to do a lot more actual local content to, point out the fact that the Dallas in our name means something. It's not just where we happen to be located. So, we're going to be trying to do a lot more local content.
Cool.
Just
tell me where and when to show up, and I'm there.
Yeah. So, with that, this is Brad and Mike from Dallas Geek saying 2017.
Bye.
Goodbye, and thank God.
You guys stay safe tonight, wherever you're going.
Yes.
Make good choices. Get home safe.
We don't want to be down a couple fans because somebody decided to be stupid tonight.
Yes, please be safe tonight. Get home safe.
Yeah.
You guys have a good night. Hopefully y'all's new year starts off well. Anything that you guys want to say at all, comments are down there. We always welcome them.
Yep. I know I'm reading in the new year, finally watching the Doctor Who Christmas special and playing some Old Republic.
Dude, I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. I'm probably just going to sleep.
Well, that's you.
Yeah. I'm old.
You're old.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah, whatever.
So anyway,
yeah. Bye, guys.
See you guys. And we're out.